Part 36. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 352. Everyone was trembling and lying on the ground. Terrified. Yang disaster, this is the fear engraved in the bones of all creatures in the fairyland. Every time a disaster comes, even the imperial clan must run away. It was an irresistible catastrophe. Even the Kailan Holy Emperor, White Tiger Holy Emperor and other emperors could only perish in the face of this disaster. Now, they broke into the Sanshung days, and the statue in front of them, actually made the ancestor of the celestial race utter the word Yang disaster. Great horror. However, after the figure of the ancestor of the celestial race was destroyed, the statue remained calm as usual, seemingly silent, and no energy came out. What the hell is this? Wu Dade was shocked when he saw the scene that just happened. Is this the source of Yang disaster? Zhang Li stared at the statue, also confused. However, the big black dog suddenly shook his head and said, "No. This statue is indeed a thing of the Yang world, but it has nothing to do with the Yang disaster. The two idiot saint emperors of the celestial race are too afraid of the Yang disaster, so when they felt the aura of the Yang world, they thought it was just the Yang disaster." Hearing this, Wu Dade and Zhang Li both looked at the big black dog in confusion. Wu Dade said, "Damn dog, please tell me clearly, what on earth is this statue?" The big black dog said, "The pet of ignorant people, this statue should be the Dharma body of the true God in the world. As long as the corresponding summoning God ritual is completed, the true God can respond. Now it seems that the ritual to awaken this statue, is that someone can evolve a real Sanshung chess formation. In this way, this statue will give the so-called three lives oil." He stared at the turtle and said, "Xuanhuan also fled to the underworld. It seems that that place has also. However, its voice was directly annihilated. It could not be spoken or heard." The big black dog continued, "But if it has been in the underworld for a long time and has no Yang Qi to survive, even Xuanhuan will continue to weaken and even die. Therefore, it brought this statue from the Yang world that can respond to the earth of three lives. You can survive by doing this. Dignified Xuanhuan actually wants to use a low-level existence like the true God to deliver food rations. Is it afraid of exposing itself? It can't even hide in the underworld. Disaster. The unspeakable appears again." The big black dog suddenly became a little impatient and barked. "Hey, this turtle is a rare animal, but how can we tame it?" At this time, Zhang Li spoke. "After all, no matter what the statue is, conquering rare animals is the most important thing." The big black dog sighed and then said to Zhang Li, "This guy likes to eat dirt." Hearing this, Zhang Li was startled. He suddenly thought of something. He gritted his teeth, lowered his head suddenly, and took a lump of mud from his shoes. "Do you want to eat this?" He opened his mouth to the turtle. The turtle was hiding behind the statue. When he saw the mud in Zhang Li's hand, the turtle's eyes suddenly lit up. "Call out." The turtle was as fast as a divine arrow, and in the next moment, it had appeared in Zhang Li's hand. It lowered its head and ate the mud in Zhang Li's hand in one gulp. The turtle was eating so happily that it suddenly jumped down from Zhang Li's hand, hugged Zhang Li's soul with four turtle claws, and gnawed wildly. This turtle originally looked like it had a shriveled shell, was very thin, and was almost dead. But now that I was chewing mud, I suddenly became lively and energetic, and the luster on the turtle shell became brighter. Zhang Li was immediately shocked. Damn! Is it really effective? He did this simply because he remembered how senior brother Qing Chen once used mud from his shoes to plug someone's belly button against a demon spider, so he thought the mud in the courtyard might be useful. I didn't expect it to be so popular. Moreover, mud is so effective. Turtles that eat dirt are so rare. Wu Dade was also happy. He suddenly picked up all the mud from the bottom of his shoe and handed it to Zhang Li. Zhang Li took the mud and fed it to the turtle. The turtle was like a glutton, gobbling up all the mud. On the other side, Xuanhuan and others from the celestial clan were shocked when they saw this scene. That is the Xuanhuan beast, a creature that only exists in myths and legends. But now, actually eating mud from the soles of other people's shoes. Just now, Xuanhuan didn't even take a look at the godless soil collected by their celestial race. Is the soil without God worse than the mud on the soles of shoes? Xuanhuan felt like vomiting blood. Mud on the soles of shoes, where do these people come from? At this moment, the Jin Lanzhenjun and others on the other side were staring at Zhang Li and others, their eyes filled with shock. Even the mud on the soles of shoes brought by walking is stronger than the godless earth, and is most likely on the same level as the sands hung earth. What kind of terrifying place must that place be? Even in the forbidden land of Yang, I'm afraid they don't have this kind of personality. The origins and backgrounds of Zhang Li and others, I can't even imagine it. After Xuanhuan finished eating the mud, he stopped leaving and hugged Zhang Li's thigh. His eyes were full of excitement. Zhang Li was stunned for a moment, feeling complicated. However, he didn't think much about it. The rare animals have been obtained, let's go. Zhang leaves the exit. Wait a minute, we still have to receive the goods. Wu Dade rubbed his hands, looked at the group of ancient tribes next to him with excitement, and said, "Damn dog, do it." The big black dog raised its paw. Suddenly, countless G-machines fell down. No. Ah. A group of saints, etc. are all wailing. The saint and son of the golden sheep tribe turned directly into two goats, bleeding. The saint and the saint of the celestial elephant tribe turned into two elephants. Saints Yu Hongshao and Yu Qingzheng of the Kinglan tribe turned into two big lively herrings. The golden blue sage, the golden peak sage, etc. of the golden winged Dapen tribe directly turned into several golden pheasants. All of them had their minds cut off and turned into the most primitive creatures, lying limply on the ground. There are nearly 100 of them. And a group of strong men from the celestial race turned directly into blood mist. All dead. Beggar's chicken, roasted whole lamb, and the dried fish that Sister Cat asked for, we have them all, ha ha ha. Wu Dade smiled, took the soft gold rope given by Ji Kink before, and tied up all the sheep, elephants, etc. Tie them into a long string. Enough to eat, definitely enough to eat this handful. Wu Dade smiled with satisfaction, crossed his waist, and suddenly saw the statue in front of him, with a curious look on his face. True God. Can you answer prayers? Wu Dade had an idea and suddenly bowed to the statue. Boom. Suddenly, the statue shattered into pieces. Turned into dust. Wu Dade was stunned on the spot. What's going on? Damn dog, what's going on? He turned back and looked at the big black dog with some horror. When the big black dog saw this scene, his mouth twitched and he said, "Ignorant pet, do you know that if you worship idols indiscriminately, you will die? If you go to the underworld, you'll be a walking disaster." Wu Dade. Let's go. At this time, Zhang Li spoke. Wait a minute. At this time, the big black dog suddenly spoke and said, "You, all turn around. This emperor, will also display a great magical power that reaches the heavens and the earth. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert." Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 353. The Great Supernatural Power that Reaches Heaven and Earth. Hearing this, Zhang Li and others were confused. But Wu Dade's eyes suddenly turned straight and he said, "Damn dog, what the hell are you going to do again?" However, before he finished speaking, the big black dog looked at him unkindly. Don't, I'll do it myself." Wu Date gritted his teeth and suddenly hit himself on the back of the head with a brick, causing him to faint. Zhang Li was startled when he saw this. Is junior brother Date so cruel? What kind of magical power should Dehe use? Does it involve taboo or weirdness? Wu Date dared not even look at it. He was also very solemn and turned around immediately. Ji Tinpan, Ji Kink, and others also hurriedly turned their heads, and Ji Tinpan even used his magic to blind several people. At this moment, the big black dog swaggered over and sniffed everywhere. The celestial race is looking for the divine land. I will give you another great gift. There is a smile in its dog eyes. The next moment, it suddenly squatted down with its hind legs. A lump of unspeakable horror suddenly slipped out. The hot breath emanates from that indescribable thing. Pulling out this indescribable thing, the big black dog felt a burst of relief. With a move of its paw, the decree of the ancestor of the celestial race not far away suddenly rubbed between its two hind legs, and then floated over it. That indescribable thing. The big black dog held its head high, walked forward, slapped Wu Date awake with his paw, and said, "Ren Chong, take your goods and leave." Wu Date leisurely transformed, but when he just woke up, he only felt an unparalleled stench coming from him. He subconsciously looked behind him. I saw that decree, those things. Vomit. Wu Date's mentality collapsed on the spot. He quickly covered his mouth and nose and said, "Damn dog, what the hell are you doing? Too disgusting. Wow, you pet, do you want to die?" Soon, Zhang Li and the others finally left the area. As they leave, boom! The entire Sans Hung Days seemed to be in a doomsday. In an instant, the supreme chess formations all over the Sans Hung Days were annihilated and disappeared. The chess formations scattered throughout Sans Hung Days originally originated from the chess maps carried by Xuanhuan. Now that Xuanhuan has left with Zhang Li, everything here has naturally disappeared with it. The smoke and dust stirred up, and even the primitive mountains that stretched thousands of miles and countless chess lights disappeared in an instant. Zhang Li and others walked out of the primordial mountains and just emerged when they saw countless imperial warships appearing in front of them. Ji Taixuan, I'm here to protect Mr. Zhang and Mr. Wu. Above the sky, a great sage appeared, and it was Ji Taixuan. Seeing Zhang Li and others appearing, he looked extremely excited and said, "You two gentlemen are fine, that's great. Excuse me, where are the major imperial clans and saint clans? If you dare to disrespect these few, the Ji family will make it impossible for them to get out of here today." There was a sonorous sound in his words. After Ji Fenjiun and others returned to the clan, they immediately reported what happened here. When they learned that the Celestials had actually arrived and had invited Great Sage Qian Tian to seal the place, everyone in the Ji family was extremely angry. Ji Taixuan directly mobilized the Ji family's troops and horses, rushed over, and waited here, as if he was going to start a clan war. Hearing this, Wu Date smiled and said, "Those imperial saints, well, they are all here." He shook the rope, and a large group of various animals tied together behind him screamed, "Baa Baa Baa!" Giggle. When Ji Taixuan saw this, he was immediately stunned. Is this big bird covered in golden feathers, the holy king of the golden-winged Dapen tribe? This goat, is it a saint from the golden holy goat clan? King Yu, the saint of the Kinglan tribe who was made into fish hot pot last time. Even though he is a great sage, he has a complicated face. This is really true to what you say. If you say you come to the central territory to hunt, you really come to hunt. And, to gain so much. In addition, he also saw a turtle on Zhang Li's hand. Just looking at that turtle gave him chills. Could it be? He didn't dare to think about it. Thank you, Senior Ji, but the matter is settled here, so you don't need to worry about it. At this time, Zhang Li smiled slightly and said, "We have to go back and report back to Master, so I won't disturb you all. Hearing this, Xuanhuan bowed deeply and said, "Best farewell to you all." The thousands of soldiers and horses of the Ji family immediately moved out of the way and were very respectful. Wu Date and others left immediately. What exactly happened? After everyone left, Xuanhuan spoke to Ji Tinpan. As he spoke, he added another sentence, saying, "Pick up the unimportant ones and tell them." Ji Tinpan. After a long time, everyone in the Ji family has also left, and even Sans Hung Osawajin has not taken a step inside. And at this moment, above the sky, suddenly, 3 old men with terrifying auras appeared. Astonishingly, they are the 3 old saint kings of the celestial race. Haowen and Ji Ming are both dead, even the holy soul lamp of Qian Tian has been extinguished. What exactly happened here? Tian Yuandao murmured. The 3 of them quickly approached the primordial mountains. "No, all the chess lights here have disappeared, what's going on?" Tian Yuansheng's expression changed slightly. "Because, there is nothing abnormal about the original mountain range at this moment. It's like the most ordinary mountain range. Go in and take a look." Tian Yuanji's face was gloomy. The 3 of them took one step and crossed the original mountain range and appeared in front of Sans Hung Days. Huh? Deep in the days, I noticed an extraordinary aura. Tian Yuanji's face moved. The 3 of them turned into streams of light. In an instant, they had descended into the deepest part of days. The place was in a mess, with the collapsed temple turning into countless ruins. Continuously, there is a strange fragrance here. At this time, Tian Yuandao suddenly sniffed. He followed the smell and looked over. The ancestral emperor's decree. He was suddenly shocked and pointed forward. In front of me, I saw the decree of the ancestor of the celestial race floating on a pile of things. Tian Yuanji and Tian Yuandao were also shocked, and the 3 of them walked over immediately. This. Tian Yuanji reached out and picked up the decree from the ancestor of the celestial race. There was something sticky on the decree, which looked like thin clay. He subconsciously took it and smelled it. Ah, what does this smell like? It's such a rich and magical aura. It makes you feel comfortable all over when you smell it. It's just too spicy for your eyes. Tian Yuanji suddenly felt a little suffocated. Is this lump on the ground the legendary 3-life earth? Why do I feel like it's like a furnace of great medicine, melting countless laws of the holy way? Tian Yuandao squatted down, carefully looked at the thing on the ground, took a few big breaths, nodded and said, "High above, really high above. The yang energy and magical charm contained in it are richer than the unicorn wood last time. It's a treasure, a treasure." Next to him, Tian Yuansheng's eyes were even more intense, and he subconsciously swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Just a few sniffs, it actually made me feel that the realm I had held for many years was a little loose. What a great opportunity it would be if I had to take a bite. He was excited and said, "Let me try it for my ancestor." Hearing this, Tian Yuanji's face turned cold and he scolded, "Bold." The old man covered it with the decree, clearly giving us instructions. There must be no mistakes in the imperial meat material that he personally ordered. No one can get involved. As he spoke, his face was filled with excitement. Seeing this magical object, our clan is really lucky. The 3 of us must send it to the ancestor in one bite. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 354. Hearing this, Tian Yuansheng and Tian Yuandao also nodded solemnly. This thing is indeed very important to Ancestor Emperor. Tian Yuanji immediately took out a jade box, cherished it, and put a lump of soil in it. Let's go. The three of them set off immediately, preparing to leave. Huh? No, there are still living people in this swamp. The three of them were flying through the air. Suddenly, they sensed a person moving quickly in the swamp below. Go down and have a look. All three of them fell instantly. Xuanhuan. Damn it, God bless me, Xuanhuan, I am so blessed and blessed. Xuanhuan's face was filled with excitement, and his legs were as if they were equipped with Hot Wheels, and he ran away very fast. What kind of bullshit celestial clan, you're humming cheating on me. This imperial clan is so bad. After we get out, I'd better stay away. In his mind, he was already thinking about where to hide in order to completely escape from the northern immortal territory. Stop. At this time, an old voice came from above the sky in an instant. The terrifying energy suddenly dropped. Xuanhuan's expression changed, and he immediately stopped, not daring to move. He raised his eyes and saw three old men already appearing in front. God, what kind of person is this? Xuanhuan was shocked just by looking at it, and the terrifying laws of the Holy Way fell. Who are you? Why are you here? Xuanhuan Dao Saint King said coldly. When Xuanhuan heard this, he felt extremely nervous. He knew that these people in front of him were all people he could not afford to offend. He bit the bullet, not daring to hide anything, and said. Junior Xuanhuan was originally from the northern border of the northern immortal territory. Later he lived in the central immortal territory. This time he came in with the Celestials. Hearing this, the expressions of the three old men changed. Are you one of the 500 human geniuses recruited by our clan? Xuanhuan Dao was suddenly surprised. The Saint Kings and quasi-holy sons of the celestial race are all waiting to die, and even the great sage Tian is finished. A human ant actually survived. When Xuanhuan heard this, his head got big. Are these three terrifying beings from the celestial race? It's over. What happened in days? Tell me. Xuanhuan stepped forward and said coldly. If you dare to hide it, I will destroy you. When Xuanhuan heard this, he immediately knelt down, his face dripping with cold sweat, and said. Kikai three seniors, I don't know either. I followed the divine son of destiny, but halfway through, I got lost with them. I was trapped on the outside and unable to move forward. I didn't dare to move until the chess formation disappeared. I really don't know what happened inside. Seeing this, the three holy kings were a little suspicious. This kid is only at the saint level, there is no way he is fake. Xuanhuan Dao spoke. Xuanhuan and Xuanhuan Sheng also nodded. The main thing is that if this person really knew what was going on inside, he would definitely eat the three lives of Earth secretly. The fact that the treasure can be placed neatly in the center shows that Xuanhuan really doesn't know what's inside. Moreover, even the great saints and saint kings have been destroyed. If a mere saint goes inside, will he still die? It seems that this child is lucky to be able to survive. Moreover, he comes from the northern border of the northern immortal territory, so he may be useful in the future. Xuanhuan was thinking about it and suddenly said coldly. Xuanhuan, right? You have passed the test of our clan. From today on, you are a disciple of our celestial clan. Come back with the three of me. Hearing this, Xuanhuan was immediately shocked. Go back with the celestials? He is a little afraid of the celestial race now. However, facing such three terrifying and powerful men, he did not dare to refuse. Soon, Xuanhuan and others returned to the celestial clan. They have arranged for Xuanhuan to practice within the clan. Not long after, they walked directly into the main hall of the celestial clan. However, as soon as they entered the hall, the three of them instantly felt an inexplicable pressure. It seems that there is some kind of supreme existence in the hall. The expressions of the three of them changed. This kind of energy, surpasses the great sage. Emperor. Could it be that? The three of them hurriedly walked into the hall. But in the main hall, Tianhoku, the holy lord of the celestial race, stood respectfully below with his hands lowered, and in front of him, there was a woman in white. The woman in white clothes stood with her hands behind her hands. At this moment, she was staring at the statue of the founder of the celestial race hanging at the top of the hall. Seeing this person, the expressions of the three holy kings of the celestial race changed greatly. Greetings to the Frost Emperor. Tianyuanji and the other three people knelt down on the spot and saluted. To the woman in white standing with her hands behind her back in front of them, they called her Frost Emperor. This is a holy emperor. But the woman in white remained silent for a long time, and then slowly turned around. Her face was as beautiful as frost, with a hint of indifference on her face as she said, "Get up." The three holy kings then stood up. I heard that you have already found the emperor's bones for immortality. Emperor Xuang asked calmly. The name of the ancestor of the celestial race is Tian Changsheng. Tian Yuanji nodded and said, "That's true. Now the emperor's bones have been recast. His old man is recovering extremely well. Last time, he was almost born from the coffin." He was extremely humble, and at the same time, he said with a grateful face, "Thanks to Emperor Frost for helping me in the past, the ancestor of our clan has survived until today. Otherwise, I am afraid that the ancestor will fall under the hands of the Snow Emperor. Tian Yuanji is the oldest holy king among the celestials, so he knows a lot of secrets. In which era, when disaster strikes, the Snow Emperor, who is at the height of the sun, greets him alone. And their ancestor emperor participated in that battle. In the end, the Snow Emperor was killed, but the ancestor emperor of the celestial race was also seriously injured. In the beginning, it was the Frost Emperor in front of him who sent Tian Changsheng back and helped him keep his soul in the coffin to wait for today. Moreover, it seems that this Frost Emperor is inextricably related to the Snow Emperor of the past. Very good. Have you found Sancheng to this time? Emperor Xuang asked indifferently. Tian Yuanji nodded, became excited, and said, "Got it?" With that said, he took out the jade box and opened it. All I saw was an indescribable thing lying quietly in it. "Xuang Emperor, please take a look. The heat of these 3 lifetimes of earth has not dissipated for a long time. There is something extraordinary in it, and it seems to contain yang energy. It is actually a supreme treasure made from the flesh of our clan's ancestral land." Tian Yuanji spoke excitedly, and as he spoke, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. Wonderful taste. Next to him, when Tianhoku saw this scene, his eyes lit up and he swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Sky. The last time the unicorn wood was enough to defy the heavens. This time Sanchengtu, the flavor is even richer. He quietly inhaled the taste and thought to himself, if he could take 1 or 2 bites, he would probably become the holy emperor directly, right? However, he could only think about it, because this was prepared for the ancestor emperor. He was so sorry. Even the white-robed Frost Emperor was surprised at this moment, and she took a cautious sniff. Why is there such a bad smell? She frowned. But, it is indeed magical and full of yang energy. It seems that it is really the third earth. However, she immediately frowned. It doesn't matter if the taste is a bit off, the main thing is that it's useful. Very good. Emperor Xuang nodded and said, "It is indeed a good thing for making emperor meat." When Tian Yuanji and other saint kings heard this, they were even more delighted and said, "To be honest with Frost Emperor, we have already found even the sacred water used to water the ancestor emperor's body. It is a surging river hidden in a vast wilderness in northern Xinjiang. The only thing we need now is the sacred blood grass." Emperor Xuang nodded and said, "The divine blood grass is the sacred grass of the ancient Sirius clan, which is rare in the world. However, in the past, The ancestor of the ancient Sirius clan died in the hands of the beings in the Tianluo Mountains. Please ask the people in the Tianluo Mountains to take action. It should be possible to deduce the location of the divine blood grass based on cause and effect. Tian Yuanji said worriedly. But, the Tianluo mountain range is the forbidden land of the Yang, how could they help us? Emperor Frost smiled coldly and said. It didn't happen before, but it does now. This is all thanks to the old Kylin who was born a few days ago. A broken body almost consumed the old spider in the Tianluo mountains. If there is no more Yang Qi to replenish, he will be finished. She looked at the jade box in Tian Yuanji's hand and said. These 3 living soils contain Yang energy, which is what he urgently needs now. If you keep a little bit, you can ask him to take action and deduce it once. When Tian Yuanji heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. Let's go, I'll go with you to cast meat for immortality. The white-robed Frost Emperor then spoke. Suddenly they disappeared from here. Not long after, they had appeared in the top-secret palace where the coffin of the celestial race's ancestor was stored. Ancestral Emperor Qi, we are coming to give you something good. Tian Yuan was extremely excited. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 355. The Frost Emperor in white clothes entered the secret hall with the 3 holy kings and holy masters of the celestial race. Seeing the sarcophagus in the main hall, Emperor Xuang seemed to have thousands of emotions emerging in his eyes. I told you a long time ago that Zhang Shui is too strong, so you can only attack secretly and never confront her head-on. If you don't listen, you must give her the final blow while she is seriously injured. Unexpectedly, that poisonous woman seriously injured you before she died. She murmured. At this moment, she remembered scenes from countless years ago. At that time, she was the daughter of a tribe leader. In a foreign attack, all her tribe was wiped out, and she almost died. However, a woman in white fell from the sky and killed all the ancient enemies with one hand. Zhang Shui. Zhang Shui rescued her, accepted her as a maid, and taught her supreme cultivation and magic skills. From that day on, she had a new name, Xuanhuan. She followed Zhang Shui and continued to grow. She witnessed with her own eyes that Zhang Shui had conquered that era and suppressed all races from coveting him. Zhang Shui became the light of the human race and the supreme snow emperor. But she is just a foil for the light. She was also fighting hard, saving countless human tribes, and destroying countless powerful ancient tribes. However, the world will always remember Zhang Shui. She hates it. She is jealous. Until later, once, Zhang Shui rescued the weak Japanese tribe. And the descendant of the Japanese tribe Japanese Changsheng. At that time, Changsheng was timid and weak. It was Zhang Shui who inspired him. The human race is not an inferior race, but if it has the will to improve itself, there is only one human race in the world. Changsheng grew up quickly. He even changed his name to Tian Changsheng. You fool, you actually fell in love with that poisonous woman. Emperor Xuang said with a hint of ridicule in his eyes. It's a pity that she is nothing but charity to you. She is aloof. Just like she treats me as a maid, she only treats you as a picked-up cat or dog. Later, disaster came. In that battle, Xuanhuan and Tian Changsheng finally united and took action against Zhang Shui. However, Xuanhuan had lived in Zhang Shui's shadow all his life and knew how terrifying Zhang Shui was, so he never showed up from the beginning to the end. However, Tian Changsheng came forward to kill Zhang Shui at the end when she was seriously injured. As a result, Zhang Shui, who was seriously injured, still severely injured Tian Changsheng. Xuanhuan could only protect Tian Changsheng's soul and help him complete the formation to recast the emperor's body. In a flash, countless years passed. Emperor Xuang sighed slightly, suppressing all the thoughts that had just arisen, and said, "Start the formation." Xuanhuan and others immediately stepped forward and activated the formation. The coffin is open. Boom. A powerful and frantic aura seemed to rush out of the sarcophagus the moment it was opened. Not good. Why does Ancestor Emperor want to leave seclusion? This old man is too eager. Xuanhuan and others were shocked. However, Emperor Xuang raised his hand indifferently. That energy was immediately suppressed. It seems that the Emperor's bones from last time did help him recover quite well. Frost Emperor also nodded and said, "Start the meat-making formation." Immediately, Xuanhuan and others stuffed all the 3 lives earth in the jade box into the coffin. Then, he closed the coffin and started the meat-making formation. Once the formation is activated, even Tian Changsheng in it will not be able to resist. These 3 life soils will attach to the Emperor's bones that were cast last time and become an important part of Tian Changsheng's new Emperor's body. The great array of light flows. Soon, the meat casting formation was completed. Bang! Bang bang bang! This time, the sound of hammering against the coffin boards in the coffin was even more rapid and violent. It seemed that the ancestor among them was even more excited than last time. Zudi is recovering so well. Xuanhuan looked excited. More powerful than last time, Emperor Zhu can't wait to be born. Xuanhuan also nodded, feeling that all the hard work was worth it. Xuanhuan stepped forward, saluted the coffin, and said, "Emperor Ancestor, please be patient and calm. We will definitely find other excellent materials for you to create a unique Emperor's body for you." Hearing this, everyone in the coffin seemed to be stunned for a moment. Then, the sound of hammering became even more urgent. "Zudi is urging us to hurry up." Xuanhuan's expression changed and he said, "We can't delay any longer." The others also nodded. Emperor Xuang also looked at the coffin lightly and said, "The Yang disaster is coming, the Yang tide has already hit the demon realm, and soon the immortal realm will also feel it. This is the last chance to enter the Yang realm, you take a good rest. When you are born, the 2 of us will finally get married, and in this life, we will enter the underworld." After saying that, she turned around and left. Xuanhuan and others followed closely behind. "I will go to the Tianluo mountains. Once I get the news, you must take action in time," Emperor Xuang said indifferently. "In addition, after the death of Emperor Snow, I will be the ancestor of the Zhang family and be respected by all human races. I don't want my relationship with Changsheng to be known to the world." Hearing this, the expressions of Xuanhuan and others changed greatly, and they said, "Please don't worry, Frost Emperor. If we dare to reveal even a word, we will be punished forever." The Frost Emperor has already drifted away. Seeing her leaving, several holy kings from the celestial race remained respectful for a long time before slowly relaxing. Xuang Emperor personally came forward. "Yang Chao, I'm afraid has already arrived." Xuanhuan murmured. "Before the Yang disaster, the Yang tide will appear first, and the demon realm will bear the brunt, and then the fairy realm." Xuanhuan had a trace of worry in his eyes. "We must revive the ancestor emperor quickly. Only his old man can lead us to escape from our misfortune." Xuanhuan is very solemn. After leaving the celestial clan, the Frost Emperor appeared in a certain area of the northern immortal territory in the blink of an eye. Ahead, the mountains are towering, looking like a big net from a distance. A few days ago, an afterimage of the Kylin Holy Emperor came here. Everyone knows that there was an unprecedented battle between the afterimage of the Kylin Holy Emperor and the taboo existence in the Tianluo Mountains. The ending is the afterimage of the Kylin Holy Emperor, completely disappearing from this world. The Frost Emperor had already appeared before the mountains. "Who disturbed my practice?" An old and loud voice, filled with anger, came from the mountains. Emperor Xuang said lightly, "My old friend Xuanhuan. Come to invite your excellency to deduce something." In the mountains, an unknown existence sneered, "Ridiculous human race, what can you ask me to deduce?" Xuanhuan said indifferently, "The ancestral land of the ancient Sirius clan." However, after listening, a cold voice came from the mountains, "Get out." Refused. Zhang Hanshuang's eyes were calm and he said, "You can't say no. If you were here in your true form, you might still have the qualifications to say this, however, you are just a clone, how dare you be so arrogant?" The unknown existence in the mountains spoke in low anger. "Without the replenishment of yang energy, sooner or later you will be like those poor people in the demon realm. Your yin and yang will be out of balance and turn into a monster. When the time comes, the adults from the underworld will arrive, and if you have the opportunity, you won't be able to seize it." Zhang Hanshuang spoke coldly. After speaking, a jade box suddenly appeared in her hand. She opened the jade box, and a breath slowly emerged. "What, you actually have such a divine object? What a strong yang energy!" Everyone in the mountains was shocked and speechless at this moment. "It's up to you whether you agree or not," Zhang Hanshuang said coldly. Hearing this, everyone in the mountain range seemed to be silent for a long time before saying, "In the past, I killed the great wolf slayer of the ancient Sirius clan, with my own hands. The cause and effect was too heavy. If I try my best to deduce his ancestral land, it is not impossible. It's just that the value of the thing in your hand is better than that of the entire Sirius clan. Is it worth it?" Zhang Hanshuang said, "This is not something you need to worry about." In the mountains, the existence immediately said, "Forget it, I will take action once." Soon, Zhang Hanshuang left from Tianluo mountain range. A message also quickly spread to the Celestial clan. The southern region of the northern immortal region, the Xiaoyu Mountains. Just a short sentence. Within the Celestial clan, the holy kings such as Tian Yuanji were all overjoyed. Attack the Xiaoyu Mountains directly. Capture it with lightning speed. The order spreads. In an instant, the Celestial clan's troops and horses mobilized, and Saint Lord Tianhoku personally led countless powerful men to the southern region of the northern immortal territory. Now, Wu Dade, Zhang Li, and others finally dragged countless prey back to the small mountain village. "Let's go back to the village. Master will be happy to see so many prey." Wu Dade spoke excitedly. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 356. Northern Immortal Territory. Southern Territory. This is a barren mountain range. Even though the power of the Holy Way has arrived and the way of heaven has been perfected long ago, this place is like a desperate place. The spiritual energy is exhausted, and there are almost no more powerful spiritual beasts. Therefore, even the adjacent cities and other cities have no interest in this mountain range. Night. A crescent moon appears in the night sky. In the barren mountains, on a high hill, a wolf shadow suddenly appeared. It was an old white wolf, and at this moment, it was roaring. And following the cry of the old wolf, there was a faint howl of a childish wolf. Barren mountains. Lonely night. There were only two wolves, an old man and a young man, standing on the hill. It seemed lonely and desolate. As the wolf roared, countless moonlight swayed down, as if converging into a river, such as the bodies of two wolves on the hill. The old wolf's fur was dull, and although he was tall, he still showed signs of fatigue. The little wolf, on the other hand, is covered in snow white, with satin-colored fur, bathed in the moonlight, and a pair of wolf eyes that are extremely lively. Swallowing the moonlight, the old wolf's breath did not change, but the little wolf's realm increased. The old wolf nodded. It is teaching the little wolf how to attract moonlight and practice. The moonlight gradually faded. The old wolf also got up, and in an instant, he turned into a withered old man. The little wolf also finished smelting moonlight and suddenly turned into a girl. She is wearing a snow-white dress, her big eyes are very smart, but her ears are still wolf ears, making her look like an elf and quite cute. Grandpa Sci-fi, when we scream at the moon, will it really make the moon turn red? Curiosity was written in her eyes. The old man smiled slightly and said, "Will do. Princess, when your wolf blood awakens and your ancestral veins revive, the whole world will tremble because of you. You were born to uphold your destiny and will restore the supreme glory of the Sirius clan." The old man's eyes were filled with expectation. The girl nodded and said, Qian will definitely work hard." An old man and a young man immediately went down the hill and walked into a valley. As the old man raised his hand, the valley suddenly changed. The valley that was deserted and peaceful just now has its barrier wide open. Among them is a dilapidated palace. The ruins were in ruins and a mess, but on top of the ruins, there was actually a bloody grass growing, reflecting the surging blood energy. Return to practice under the sacred blood grass. When you reach the perfection of the four realms, you can swallow the sacred blood grass and enter the realm of great power. At that time, you will awaken the ancestral blood. The old man spoke. The girl in the white dress nodded immediately and walked towards the sacred grass. No. At this time, the old man suddenly felt something was wrong, and he turned back suddenly. But outside the valley, at some point, two terrifying old men appeared. The holy king of the celestial race, Xuanhuan Dao, Xuanhuan Sage. They came in person. They had been following the old man and the young man in secret for a long time, and it was only at this moment that they appeared after being blocked by the barrier. Celestials. The old wolf's expression changed and he said, "You scum, what are you doing here? Haha, you're asking even though you know it." Xuanhuan Dao said coldly, "Hand over the sacred blood grass and kneel down to recognize our clan as the master. Otherwise, you and this evil breed will die." The two of them, with their cultivation levels fully activated at this moment, are breaking through this barrier. At the same time, in the night sky, densely packed imperial warships appeared. Tianhoku, the holy lord of the Tianren clan, personally led the troops. This time, the two holy kings and one holy master of the celestial race came in person. It can be said to have used a lot of foundation. Because the sacred blood grass was the last missing material, and they finally asked someone to deduce the location, they absolutely couldn't miss it. Seeing this scene, the old wolf's pupils shrank. Grandpa Sci-fi. From behind, the girl also ran over anxiously. However, the old wolf suddenly looked at the princess and said, "Princess, let's go. The celestials are ruthless, you must escape and go all the way north, never look back." While the barrier was not broken, he suddenly uprooted the sacred blood grass rooted in the ruins, stuffed it into the girl's hand, and said, "Walk." He kicked hard and stepped on the ruins. Suddenly, countless lights lit up. The space is distorted and the void is churning. "Grandpa, no." The girl who hadn't reacted yet disappeared from where she was. It was at this moment that with the joint efforts of the two holy kings, the barrier in the valley was shattered. The celestial race, today, we will fight until death. And the old wolf in the ruins burst out with terrifying power. Holy king level. He is a saint king level powerhouse. The wolf roar shook the sky, as if there were thousands of wolf souls resonating with him. Mountains and rivers tremble. The remnant of the wolf clan has left with the sacred blood grass. She can't run far. How Chu, you lead everyone to chase her. However, Tianyuandao just spoke coldly. After speaking, he and Tianyuan Sheng stepped forward together. It's time for the Sirius clan to completely disappear from this world. Tianyuan Sheng shouted loudly and punched the old wolf suddenly. Below, the battle broke out among the three holy kings in an instant. The entire mountain range was almost destroyed at this moment. On the sky, Holy Lord Tianhoku said directly without hesitation. Let's go, hunt down that remnant. He led the warships of the celestial race to pursue him. Night sky. In the cold night sky, the space was distorted, and a door of light appeared. Lang Qianqian fell out of the space. She looked back. Even though she was tens of thousands of miles away, she could still feel the terrifying fluctuations coming from the Xiaoyu mountains. She even faintly heard her grandfather's angry wolf howl. Grandfather! Tears flowed from her eyes. Since she was born, Grandpa Si Wei has been the only one to accompany and protect her. Grandpa often calls himself a slave, but Lang Qianqian has always regarded her grandfather as a relative. Now, Grandpa may die. She wants to go back. No. I can't go back. I want to escape. I carry fate on my back. I want to grow. Only by growing up can I get revenge. Lang Qianqian wiped away her tears at this moment. She ran towards the north of the northern immortal territory without looking back. And she just left not long ago. The warship has appeared here. Inform the Holy Master that the aura of the remnant of the wolf tribe has been sensed in this direction. Chase! The leader of the stalkers shouted loudly. Not long after, all the warships of the celestial race were heading in this direction at high speed. Now, Wu Dade and others dragged a long string of prey into the small mountain village. Hey, Dade, that's awesome. Where did you catch so many prey? At the entrance of the village, Uncle Zhao was surprised. He gave Wu Dade a thumbs up and said, "Well done." Wu Dade grinned and said while struggling to drag the prey behind him. "Second uncle, let's have dinner tonight." When the second uncle heard this, he was very happy and said, Okay, I'll go tell the people in our village." Soon, word spread in the village. What? There's even an elephant? What a rare thing. Boil water quickly. Spark the fire. Even Ming Tianbei, who was begging on the roadside, got excited after receiving the notice from the second uncle. He ran to the entrance of the village and said, "Brothers, enter the village and prepare to have a feast." You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 357. Soon, Wu Dade and Zhang Li finally dragged their prey to the Wu leisure court. Putting the prey at the door, Wu Dade stepped forward and knocked on the door, saying, "Master, we are back." In the small courtyard, Li Fan was drinking tea while thinking about the second set of radio gymnastics the Times is calling given by the system. Hearing their voices, Li Fan immediately smiled, raised his eyes and said, "Come in." Immediately, Zhang Li and Wu Dade pushed the door open and entered. Seeing them coming back, a group of disciples also looked over. "Zhang Li, how did your chess game go this time?" Li Fan looked at Zhang Li and asked with a smile. With Zhang Li's chess prowess, Li Fan thinks he should be able to win the prize in this Go challenge. But, it's hard to say how many prizes you can win. After all, in such a huge fairyland, there must be many experts and fierce competition. Zhang Li stepped forward and saluted, saying, "Master, my disciple has understood the 3 lives chess formation according to your teachings. Defeat the enemy and gain a lot." In addition, the disciple also found a rare animal. With that said, he took out the turtle. The turtle was quite large, with a shell as big as a chessboard and crisscrossing the shell. The turtle was taken out by Zhang Li at this moment, and the turtle's eyes were filled with excitement. It looked at the small courtyard furtively. Seeing the chickens in the courtyard, the fish in the pond, the peach trees, etc. Its body was actually trembling slightly. When Li Fan saw this, he was a little surprised at the moment. The rare animal is actually a turtle? What kind of turtle is this? He walked closer and looked at it, and when he saw the checkerboard-like patterns on the turtle shell, he immediately understood. This turtle seems to be the prize Zhang Li won this time. Gee, the organizer of this competition is quite thoughtful. Not only did he find a rare turtle, he also carved lines on the turtle shell. This was the first time Li Fan had seen such a weird prize. That's right, you can keep it and use it as a chessboard, it's pretty good too. Li Fan opened his mouth toward Zhang Li. When Zhang Li heard this, he immediately said solemnly, "Disciple, obey." As he spoke, he placed the turtle on the ground and said, "From now on, you will live here." Hearing this, the turtle actually seemed a little excited. It just lowered its head and started chewing the mud on the ground. Zhang Li was startled when he saw this. This turtle, is he so greedy? Eating mud actually. Li Fandu was stunned for a moment and said, "It's quite easy to make a living." He is also quite pleased. So far, the completion rate of rare animals has reached 3/9. By the way, Master, this time I went to the Central Territory, I gained a lot. At this time, Wu Dade spoke with excitement on his face and said, "Go out and take a look. What you brought back this time is enough to feed our whole village." Hearing this, Li Fan also smiled and said, "Oh, let's take a look at it, Master." He immediately took Zi Ling and other disciples out of the small courtyard. At the door, I saw a long string of prey tied up, like a hill. Baa. Several sheep are barking. Kikik. Several golden pheasants were noisy. Even the 2 elephants were barking wildly. Seeing this scene, Li Fan was also shocked. This harvest is really good. The hunting skills of Wu Dade and Big Black Dog are so strong. It seems that I have never taught them. Could it be that they learned the book 100 Ways of Hunting from the study? Tisk tisk, that's okay. Li Fan nodded in praise and said, "Inform the folks in the village to light up the fire, let's have a feast tonight." Soon, the small mountain village suddenly became lively. Every household helps the old and the young. They all gathered in the open space where the cattle feast was held last time. Aunt Zhang's house brought a big iron pot. Uncle Zhang brought several butcher knives. Uncle Wang brought several loads of firewood. The older girls in the village were gathering together to wash pots and choose vegetables, while Uncle Zhang and others started killing sheep and elephants. Li Fan also took action himself and slaughtered 2 pheasants with golden feathers. Master, let me help you get the chicken, I can pluck the feathers." Zi Ling, Nan Feng and others gathered around, rolled up their sleeves, and started doing it with Li Fan. Soon, the animals were almost done and cooking began. Beggar's chicken, roasted whole lamb, grilled fish, stewed elephant, etc., to name a few. Have a meal. A group of children are also jumping happily. And at this moment, a ray of light quickly rushed into the night sky of northern Xinjiang. Lang Qinqian's speed has reached the extreme. Along the way, she continuously consumed many pieces of jade charms. Those are the only resources left by the Sirius clan. She fled all the way north, but the warship behind her always locked onto her. Can't get rid of it? At this moment, there is a vast wilderness ahead. Lang Qianqian gritted his teeth and plunged into the great northern wilderness without looking back. The warships of the celestial race quickly caught up and arrived outside the great northern wilderness. At this moment, on a certain warship, Ao Wushuan's eyes widened when he saw the scene in front of him. This is crazy. Why are you back? The evil door, what a really evil door. Ao Wushuan was about to collapse. I spent a lot of effort to cross the entire northern immortal territory, why? Isn't it just to avoid this evil Bida Wang? Now the human race actually pulled themselves back today? Do you want to torture people like this? He swallowed a mouthful of saliva, looked at the leader on the warship, gritted his teeth and said, "Commander, this place is weird. Why don't you tell the Holy Master, no, don't go in?" However, the leader was a quasi-sage. At this moment, he gave him a cold look and said, "The ants of the human race can't change their weak nature. How dare you talk about weirdness in a mere wilderness? Do you still want to shake the morale of the army? If you dare to talk nonsense again, I will kill you." Hearing this, Aowu gritted his teeth and said, "Yes, yes, sir, everything you said is right, I was wrong." After saying that, he quietly withdrew. "Get ready to run." "Humph, human ant, the soul-destroying talisman has been placed on you. If you dare to escape, I will detonate the soul-destroying talisman and kill you." At this time, the commander spoke coldly. Hearing this, Xuanhuan froze immediately and turned around, with a trace of sadness, anger, and grievance in his eyes. "Why is this?" "Commander, don't worry, I will definitely advance and retreat with the celestial race, go back and forth, go to the great northern wilderness, whoever doesn't go will be my grandson." He gave it all. "Commander." At this moment, on top of a warship headed by this woman's teleportation jade talisman is almost used up. Chase her. Even if she goes to heaven or earth, we must catch her and get the sacred blood grass. Holy Lord Tianhoku spoke indifferently. Suddenly, the celestial clan army rushed into the wilderness. Lang Qianqian ran away quickly. The last jade talisman has been used up. The pursuers in the rear were getting closer and closer. Without the teleportation jade talisman, she would not be able to escape simply by relying on her cultivation in the Forya realm. But, right now, she suddenly felt an inexplicable aura coming from the ground in front of her. She looked down and saw that there, like a paradise, there was a small mountain village. Under the starlight, there were continuous bonfires in the small mountain village, and she could vaguely hear the lively sounds in it. "No, why does this place give me a frightening feeling?" Lang Qianqian was surprised. Where to go? At this time, the pursuers from behind were already coming. "Do not care." Lang Qianqian suddenly rushed downwards. She instantly landed in front of the small mountain village, and then ran directly towards the small mountain village. Ah! But the next moment, she felt an inexplicable oppression, unable to maintain her human form, and suddenly turned into a snow-white wolf. She ran into the small mountain village. In the sky behind, densely packed celestial warships suddenly appeared. "Stop!" Tianhoku, the holy lord of the celestial race, changed his expression and spoke loudly. He looked at the small mountain village below, his face extremely solemn, and his eyes filled with uncertainty. "This place, why does this place look so weird?" He was a little surprised. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 358. In a small mountain village. The whole village has already begun to eat. On the bonfire, the roasted whole lamb has become golden and oily, exuding a strong fragrance, and is sprinkled with cumin and other seasonings, which is mouth-watering. The elephant meat has been stewed to a crisp, and with a flick of the chopsticks, the meat slides off the bones. Li Fan personally made the ingredients for the grilled fish. After adding them, the grilled fish was full of color and aroma, tempting everyone's taste buds. The people in the village sat together and ate happily. The beggar's chicken should be cooked. Li Fan smiled, pulled the beggar's chicken out of the bonfire, smashed open the mud wrapped around it, and the aroma immediately hit his face. "Master, I want to eat beggar's chicken." Zi Ling's big eyes were filled with anticipation. I want it too, I've been craving for a beggar chicken for a long time." Duguyuking wiped his saliva. Li Fan smiled, tore off a chicken leg and said, "Xianning, here, I'll give you the chicken legs. The chicken legs at home must be reserved for children. Xuanhuan took the chicken leg and was very happy. She smiled sweetly and said, "Thank you, big brother." Then, Li Fan tore the beggar's chicken into pieces and distributed them to his disciples one by one. In fact, today's chicken is completely enough, because the pheasants Wu Date and the others brought back were quite big. One is enough for many people. In addition to making beggar's chicken, there is also stewing in the pot. This fish meat is good. Although the meat is a bit rough, it is wild and quite fresh. A rare thing like an elephant is also delicious. When stewed, it tastes like beef. It's so comforting. Give me another leg of lamb. What a fun meal. And at this moment, village head Lang Qianqian broke into the small mountain village and transformed into her original shape. This small mountain village seems like a forbidden place, and there is some kind of mysterious power. Her heart trembled. However, the pursuers are still there. We can only move forward. She wanted to move on. However, the next moment, she felt as if she was being watched by some terrifying existence. She suddenly trembled and looked up, only to see two cows tied to a tree stump in front of her. An old scalper, a big black cow. The two cows were chewing grass and looking at her calmly. Boom! Just by looking at the old scalper, Bai Xiaoqing felt a sudden sensation in her mind, as if she was completely blank. The emperor cannot look directly at him. The words Grandpa Si Wei once said suddenly rang in her mind. God, could it be that this cow in front of me? It's actually the holy emperor level? She was so scared that she fell to the ground. Don't dare to move. Looking at the small mountain village in front of her, she was even more frightened. Where did she get into? Is it the forbidden land of Yang? The Yang Forbidden Land doesn't have such a big name, right? Use a Saint Emperor level cow to defend the village. Brother, why did a wolf come in? This wolf is holding a piece of grass, it looks a bit complicated. The big black cow Niu Dushan asked the old scalper. The old scalper said calmly. The ancient Sirius clan, divine blood grass. Hearing this, Dehe Newton was shocked. The ancient Sirius clan? Divine blood grass. The ancient Sirius clan, but the imperial clan. In the past, the great Emperor Lang Mi of the ancient Sirius clan was full of high spirits and raised his entire clan to fight against the evils of the Yang dynasty. The result, the whole family was destroyed. Hasn't this clan already ceased to exist in the world? Moreover, the divine blood grass, it is the legendary divine grass. There are rumors that the divine grass does not belong to the underworld. The ancestor of the ancient Sirius clan was just an ordinary grey wolf at the beginning because he ate a divine grass. Blood grass, bloodline evolved crazily, and became the holy emperors. Unexpectedly, he would appear here now. There's someone out there chasing the wolf. The old scalper suddenly glanced outside. The big black cow also looked over. Only outside the small mountain village. Tianhoku of the celestial clan, with countless powerful men, had put away his warship and landed on the earth. Tianhoku's eyes were filled with solemnity. This small mountain village, even this holy master can't see through. However, no matter where it is, for the glory of our clan, the wolf must be captured. He spoke in a deep voice and stepped forward. This remnant of the wolf clan can't escape far. He saw that the white wolf was lying at the entrance of the village, seemingly losing the power to move. Grab it quickly and come back. He suddenly shouted lowly. There was something weird here, so he didn't plan to stay any longer, and the most important thing was to get the sacred blood grass and leave as soon as possible. Beside him, two terrifying figures rushed directly towards the small mountain village. Two holy kings. But, right now, the old scalper at the entrance of the village suddenly raised his eyes lightly. Just took a look. Boom. The inexplicable energy suddenly fell down. Ah! The two saints of the celestial race let out a shrill shout at this moment. Bang bang! They turned directly into blood mist, and their souls were wiped out on the spot. Seeing this scene, the celestial army behind them were all shocked for an instant. What's going on? How could the two holy kings die in such strange ways? Could it be that there is a holy king or a great sage here? They were all shocked. Those are two powerful holy kings. But now, in an instant, he died inexplicably. It seems like they were glanced at by that cow just now. At this time, an old sage spoke with some trembling. Hearing this sentence, everyone took a breath of air. They all looked towards the two cows tied at the entrance of the village. No, that big black bull, is he from the demonic cow clan? It should be. It was rumored before that the demonic cow clan is in league with the human race. Is it true? Everyone was talking in surprise. At the same time, everyone looked at the old scalper with fearful expressions. Because, no matter the great powers, saints, sage kings, etc., they can't see the depth of that old cow at all. This means that the realm of that cow is at least that of the Holy King. Just by looking at him, he could kill two saints, maybe even the great sage. A holy king, or even a great sage, was actually chained at the entrance to another village. What kind of place should this mountain village be? At this time, Tianhoku stepped forward and spoke in a deep voice. My clan is the Celestial Clan. No matter who the owner of this place is, if you are an enemy of our clan, you will have to pay the price. Hand over the remnants of the Wolf clan that day, otherwise, even if you are the Holy King or the Great Sage, you will only die. He spoke coldly, threatening the old scalper. However, the old scalper still just chewed back and seemed to ignore him at all. If you don't eat the toast, you will be fined with wine. If so, don't blame my clan, just wipe out this place. Tianhao Chuhan spoke in a cold voice, waved his hand, and everyone from the Tianren tribe gradually stepped forward, preparing to attack. However, at this time, Xuanhuan in the crowd was shocked when he saw this scene. He rushed out in a hurry and said, Holy Lord, wait a minute, wait a minute. Tianhoku immediately looked over coldly. Feeling the tremendous pressure from Tianhao's eyes, Xuanhuan bit the bullet and said, Let me go, Holy Lord, I want to make great contributions to our celestial race. I'm familiar with this place, and I'm willing to bring the sacred blood grass out. His words were filled with eagerness, and he looked so loyal and courageous. Hearing this, Tianhao was surprised at first. Are you familiar with this place? Okay, then go ahead. As long as you can take out the sacred blood grass, I will accept you as my adopted son. Tianhoku spoke directly. After all, this place is unfathomable, and if you can't help but break through it as a last resort, it's best not to. Anyway, it doesn't cost much to let this humble human ant try it. Hearing this, Xuanhuan nodded and said, I'm going right away. After speaking, he plucked up the courage and walked towards the small mountain village. However, as soon as he approached the entrance of the village, Xuanhuan suddenly knelt down. Niu, Uncle Niu, I am Boss Ao who gave you cows last time. With a sincere look on his face, he spoke directly and said, I am a good person. In the back, everyone in the Celestial Clan was stunned when they saw this scene. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 359. Xuanhuan knelt directly on the ground. His face was full of fear and fear. Please, God, please save me for once. I really don't want to die. His heart was about to collapse. If the Celestial Clan hadn't been too pressing, he really wouldn't have wanted to come. This place is really evil. Now, there is no other way, so, I can only take a chance. And the rear. Everyone in the celestial clan was startled when they saw this scene. Damn it, how dare this human ant rebel! Traitor! The human undercover, kill him! Everyone in the celestial race was immediately furious. Many strong men were furious and charged directly towards Xuanhuan. However, at this time, the old cow who was chewing back suddenly glanced outside. Boom! In an instant, not a single one of these strong men was left, and they were all killed. This time, everyone can see clearly. Even the celestial beings, even the saint-level figures, are in shock at this moment. Is it true, that even a saint can be killed with just one glance? Terrible! Even Tianhoku was as silent as a cicada at the moment, his eyes shrinking. As for Xuanhuan, he was still kneeling on the ground. The food you sent is not good and cannot be eaten. At this time, the old scalper suddenly looked at Xuanhuan and said. Xuanhuan originally thought he was doomed. However, when they heard this, they were all shocked. You really almost succeeded? Damn it, is this okay? I, Xuanhuan, am indeed a person blessed by God. He suddenly became excited and said. Uncle Niu, yes, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I brought the wrong goods, please forgive me. He was beyond grateful. The old scalper nodded and said. Okay, then let's return it first. After saying that, the old scalper suddenly raised his hoof. Boom! In an instant, the incomparable terrifying energy formed a terrifying cow hoof print in the sky outside the small mountain village, and fell suddenly. No! What a terrible attack! Quickly, ask the ancestor for his decree. Everyone in the celestial clan shouted in panic. This big mark of the ox hoof was very terrifying, far beyond the scope of the Holy Lord, and they couldn't even raise their minds to resist. Ancestor Emperor, help! Tianhoku was also filled with anger and suddenly took out a silver decree. The decree of the Ancestor Emperor. These are already the last few decrees at the bottom of the celestial clan's medium pressure box. In an instant, a wisp of the Emperor's shadow walked out of the decree. However, this phantom appeared just now, and before he could react, the cow's hooves had already fallen down. Ah! The phantom of the ancestor of the celestial race let out a scream and was instantly annihilated. Xuanhuan, I won't let you go no matter what. Tianhoku let out a shrill scream. At this moment, he really regretted it. But, it's too late. The next moment, the celestial clan's tens of thousands of troops were all destroyed. Turn into blood mist. There was silence between heaven and earth. In front of the small mountain village, for a moment, it seemed as if nothing had appeared. Xuanhuan was shocked when he saw the scene he discovered behind him. What kind of rhythm is this? The old ox is stomping his hooves, and he can't withstand the decree of the ancestor of the celestial race? Great horror! The ultimate horror! At this moment, he was afraid, completely afraid. This old scalper, this small mountain village, for his own knowledge, is beyond the scope. Not to be offended, you must stay as far away as possible and hide as far away as possible. I wish I could just cross the northern immortal territory and escape to the ends of the earth. Xuanhuan swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said with some trembling. Uncle Niu, I will go back first. However, the old scalper said. You're just going back like this. Aren't you going to return the goods? Xuanhuan was stunned. He wanted to say, didn't all the goods be destroyed by you? The Celestials are looking for the divine blood grass because of the divine blood. Have you seen the pool of blood outside? The old scalper spoke. Xuanhuan looked back and saw that where Tianhoku and others were standing just now, there was nothing left, but a small pool of blood. This is, the blood of all the Celestials? Xuanhuan was confused. Did you see the farmyard manure in the field? At this time, the old scalper opened his mouth and pointed towards a pile of farmyard manure piled in a field at the entrance of the village. The farmyard manure had just been dug out of the pig pen, and it was still fresh. Grab some farmyard manure, mix it with the blood, and take it back. Go ahead. After the old scalper finished speaking, he started chewing on his own. Upon hearing this, Xuanhuan was stunned. Let yourself be mixed with feces and blood and sent back to the celestial race? I am afraid that I will be destroyed by the celestial race. But if you don't, I have to die now. He hesitated for a moment, gritted his teeth, rushed to the ground, reached out and grabbed a handful of smelly pig shit. Damn, the pigs in the pen are scurrying around. Xuanhuan almost fainted from the smoke, and with difficulty brought the handful of dung to the small pool of blood and put it in. Remember to stir it and make it even. The voice of the old scalper came. Xuanhuan gritted his teeth, turned his head to prevent himself from being fainted, and reached out to stir. Suddenly, there was an extremely strong smell in the blood. That's almost it, let's go. Hearing the old scalper's voice, Xuanhuan felt like he was being pardoned. He hurriedly took out a jade pot and put a pool of blood in it. Goodbye, Uncle Niu. After finishing pretending, Xuanhuan ran away, as if his legs were equipped with Hot Wheels. Seeing him leaving, De Niu became a little solemn and said, Brother, Boss Ao, I'm afraid that if he goes back, his soul will be searched by the celestial race, and he will be dead by then. A hint of cunning suddenly appeared in the old scalper's eyes, and he said, I made a false sea of consciousness for him, and the celestial race searched for his soul. I'm afraid they will be grateful to him. Hearing this, De Niu was even more impressed. I have created a false sea of consciousness. What kind of tricks are there in this world? Moreover, from beginning to end, there was no emotion at all. He nodded and said, however, the celestial clan's plot is probably quite big. The old scalper was disdainful and said, plow the land well. In a few years, you can wipe out this kind of people even if you piss on them. Hearing this, Niu Dushan immediately became excited. Brother, don't worry, I will work hard to cultivate the land. Next to him, the snow-white little wolf Lang Qian was completely trembling at the moment and didn't dare to move. It's over, what have you gotten yourself into? An old cow stamped its feet, and the entire army of the celestial race was wiped out. She didn't dare to move at all, she just stayed at the entrance of the village. And at this moment, Xuanhuan took the jade pot and rushed out of Baidawang. Damn it, you cheating celestials, if I go back I'll be a dog. He was cursing and cursing, so stupid. The last time I had to take myself to Sansheng days was a loss. Now he actually takes himself to the great northern wilderness. If I continue to stay with this unlucky group, my old Ao will lose his head sooner or later. He thought quietly and left quickly. He is ready, this time, to hide a little further. If the northern immortal territory is not enough, then the southern immortal territory is better. If the southern immortal territory still couldn't hide, he gritted his teeth, the demon territory wouldn't be able to accept it. Huh? Xuanhuan. However, he had just left the great northern wilderness when suddenly two old men appeared in the sky. The celestial clan Saint King Tianyuandao and Tianyuan Sheng. They had already killed the old holy king Siwei of the ancient Sirius clan and were following the traces of the large army. But they didn't expect that as soon as they arrived here, they met Xuanhuan who came out of the great northern wilderness. Xuanhuan was stunned when he saw these two old saint kings. At this moment, he just wanted to raise his eyes and curse God. Damn it, is it over yet? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 360. Small Village. Everyone sat around the campfire, roasting on the fire, stewing in the pot. It was all delicious. By the way, the fruit wine I brewed a few days ago should be almost fermented. At this time, Li Fan opened his mouth and said, "Yuking, go get it from the cellar and give it to everyone to try." Li Fan has always upheld the good family tradition of diligence and frugality, so when he couldn't finish the peaches a few days ago, he took a lot of them and brewed a bunch of fruit wine for storage. Such a wonderful day must be shared with everyone. Hearing this, Dugu Yuking immediately stood up and said, "Master, I'll get it right now." Soon, he came back with several large jars of fruit wine. When you open the seal of the wine, the aroma immediately overflows, making everyone salivate. "Smell good. What kind of wine is this?" Everyone is looking forward to it. Everyone poured wine immediately. This drink contains countless rules of the holy way. With the magical effect of flat peach. All the disciples were surprised. "Wow, this is the peach wine brewed by Master? It smells so intoxicating." Zai Ling held the drink and took a sip. Her eyes sparkled and she couldn't help but take a sip. After taking a sip, she couldn't bear it anymore and drank a bowl directly. Because fruit wine is really suitable for girls' appetites. Boom! In an instant, Zai Ling's whole body was filled with aura. At this moment, she broke through the shackles of the Four Stars realm, her spine became jade, and she entered the Yasha realm. She became a great painter. What a powerful drink! When Nanfan saw this, he was overjoyed and immediately drank a bowl of wine. As the wine swelled up, she felt countless musical notes flying in front of her eyes. As she breathed, the holy power in her body hit the Yashu, and she stepped directly through the door. The great power of Kindeo. One sword, invincible. Dugu Yuking looked up to the sky and roared. His spine seemed to have turned into a magic sword. The sea of swords roared in his danshan, and the sword intent soared to the sky. Great swordsman! I've had wine and meat, anyway, I'm happy. One more bowl, one more bowl. Ching Chen was already drunk, but he had a unique Zen mood. In an instant, it was like 10,000 Buddhas chanting sutras in his body, and the Buddha's light shone everywhere. He became a powerful Buddha. Ouch, stop dancing, I'm so dizzy. Lu Rang was holding a pot of grass and was very drunk. He poured half a glass of wine on the grass, causing the grass to dance non-stop and knocked him out. And in an instant, his spine emitted endless green light, he became a great master of the grass path. Even the little Taurus was fed half a glass of wine by him and fell down on the spot, but it was so arrogant that it broke into the realm of the four lights. Endless drinking power, rampage, no, I want to transform into a dragon. Long Xuanhuan shouted. After drinking the wine, he stimulated the potential of his whole body, his spine turned into a big dragon, and his energy was supreme. Use the way of the true dragon to enter the realm of great power. The self is like a talisman, and the jade pivot is like a urn. They are connected into one body, which is for good fortune. Lin Zhuhan took a few swigs, activated the runes, and refined his spine into a part of his own creation rune. After Xiao Kailin drank the wine, he fell into a deep sleep and fell into his arms. He used Xuanhuan as a pillow and fell asleep on it, while Xuanhuan was holding a piece of mud and chewing on it. After Subakian drank a few sips, she was overwhelmed by the alcohol, her face turned red, and her body felt hot. She channeled the alcohol into her body, and her spine glowed instantly. Great medicine. Looking at the world when drunk, the world is different. The sky is the quilt and the earth is the bed, I am a chess player and a chess piece. Zhang Li was also drunk. In a daze, the endless aura was stimulated and impacted the sea of consciousness through the Yashu. During his battle with the great sage Qian Tian, he became a master of chess. Now, he has broken through the fog in the sea of consciousness. Enter the realm of breaking the fog. Saint. He has become a chess saint. At this moment, in a trance, he saw himself trapped on the chessboard by shackles in the sea of consciousness. That is the next realm, the realm of shackles, which is also the Saint King. On the other side, Gong Ya and Xianning also entered the realm of great power. Come on! Wu Dade was shouting at this moment, looking at the big black dog pleadingly. He was itchy, so itchy. The consequence of practicing physical skills is that every time he breaks through, his body is recast and he becomes itchy. The big black dog licked the wine in the bowl. The dog didn't even look at him, and slapped Wu Dade unconscious with his paw. The venue was very lively. Next to him, Uncle Zhao Er was holding a wine jar, sitting with Ming Tianbei, Xue Ji and others, and said, "Xiao Bei, come on, you guys and I will have a bowl together." Ming Tianbei and others were extremely excited. "Thank you, second uncle." They picked up the drinks and started drinking. It was a great time. However, not long after, a group of people also became drunk. This fruit wine has great staying power. Ming Tianbei was so drunk that he almost lost consciousness, but he still murmured, "Uncle, this wine jar." The second uncle was drinking, his expression became complicated, and he said, "Don't worry, the second uncle makes the decision, this wine jar belongs to you. No one will compete with you." He was simply moved by this dedicated spirit. Next to him, Li Fan was stunned when he saw a group of disciples all drunk. These disciples are not very good at drinking, however, this wine does have a lot of stamina. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but lower his head and look at Xiaobai in his arms. Xiaobai held his hand in his arms with her little paws and was sucking his fingers, her eyes seemed a little blurry. "Are you drunk too?" Li Fan was amused. This greedy cat saw others drinking fruit wine and wanted to drink it himself, so he dipped his finger in it and fed it to it. Unexpectedly, the cat was also drunk. He couldn't help but gently rub Xiaobai's swollen belly. "Xiao Li." At this time, Aunt Wan came over and said, "Do you still remember what Auntie told you? Find you a good girl." Hearing this, Li Fan suddenly became a little nervous and said, "Auntie, I don't need it anymore." Aunt Wan, however, looked serious and said, "Why don't you use it? Do you want to be single all your life? Besides, the girl I found for you is beautiful and virtuous." As she spoke, she walked to the side and pulled a woman over. Li Fan raised his eyes and was startled when he saw this woman. "This girl, I have seen it myself. You are, Zhang Shui." Li Fan spoke. In Xiantian realm, at the beginning, this girl wanted to worship herself as her teacher. Unexpectedly, this girl is still in the village. When Aunt Wang heard this, she was happy and said, "Ah, you still know girl Zhang? Isn't that just right? Let me tell you, girl Zhang has lived in our village for a year, and she can do any job, especially if she is a good female worker. If you marry girl Zhang home, you will, if you want to do needlework, do you still have to do it yourself?" She tried her best to dissuade her and said, "Since you two know each other, let's have a good chat, and I won't disturb you young people." With that said, she turned and left. Zhang Shui's eyes were filled with apologies and she said, "Senior, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." She bit her lower lip tightly, her face extremely worried. "I'm afraid of offending the senior." Li Fan also gave a bitter smile and said, "It's nothing, how is everything in the village?" Now it seems that this girl is probably in the outside world and has no one to rely on, so she stays in the village to make a living. He is also a poor man. "Everything is fine, Aunt Wang takes good care of me." Zhang Shui nodded. "That's good, would you like something to drink?" Li Fan handed Zhang Shui a bowl of fruit wine. Zhang Shui was immediately flattered. She didn't expect that such an expert would actually pour herself wine. She hurriedly took it and said, "Thank you, senior." Then, she nervously started drinking. Drink entrance. It turned into endless source energy of the holy way, filled with alcohol, and she suddenly felt a little dizzy. There seemed to be many strange pictures appearing in my mind. "Senior, Junior is too drunk, please leave now." Zhang Shui spoke hurriedly. Li Fan nodded. Zhang Shui left immediately. Seeing a group of disciples drunk, Li Fan smiled bitterly and had to send them back to the small courtyard again. "Girl Ziling, you don't know how to wear more clothes? It's windy at night, so don't catch a cold." Li Fan stood up, murmured, gently carried Ziling back to the small courtyard, placed her on the bed, and covered her with a quilt. "By the way, put Ziobai in the cat's nest as well." He went out several times and brought back Nan Feng, Gong Ya and others, and then dragged Wu Date and others to the bed one by one. After finishing the work, Li Fan walked out of the small courtyard and sat down. "The stars and moon are bright in the sky. It should be a good weather tomorrow, so we can take the disciples out to collect wind. If you are happy in life, you must have all the joy, and don't let the golden cup stand empty against the moon." He couldn't help but smile, raised his glass to the bright moon, faced each other as three people, drank the wine in one gulp, and then went back to sleep. The night is dark. The divine ox, Kailan, and Xuanhuan have all fallen. They are here again, home, and there is no way they can go back. Over there in the chicken coop, the old hen suddenly spoke, and her words seemed to be filled with endless sentimentality. After a long time, the peach tree slowly whispered, "Home is where the master is." Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 361. Outside Baidawang. Ao Wushuan almost collapsed. "It's so torturous." He was originally planning to turn around and run away, across the northern immortal territory, then across the central immortal territory, and flee directly to the southern immortal territory. As a result, he was blocked by the two holy kings of the celestial race again. "Does this still allow you to escape? Why are you here alone? Where is the army of the clan?" Tianyuan Sheng looked at Ao Wushuan with a cold face. Ao Wushuan's scalp was numb and he said, "They are all dead." Hearing this, the two holy kings were both shocked. "All dead? How can it be? How could it be like this?" Tianhoku carries the decree of the ancestral emperor in his body. Unless the living holy emperor takes action, nothing will happen to them. Tianyuan Dao was extremely dignified. Suddenly, he stared at Ao Wushuan. "I will search for this person's soul." His face was cold, and in an instant, Qi directly enveloped Ao Wushuan. Ao Wushuan's whole body froze. At this moment, he clearly felt that his whole body was imprisoned. It was as if he was being watched by something, his whole body seemed to be seen through. "It's over, it's over." Ao Wushuan trembled instantly. These two holy kings will definitely find out that they betrayed their teammates in front of the small mountain village. Damn it! Ao Wushuan is despairing. However, at this moment, Tianyuan Dao and Tianyuan Sheng were shocked. Because when they explored Ao Wushuan's memory, they saw this scene. Tianhao and others chased the remnant of the Sirius clan. On the way, the remnant of the Sirius clan swallowed up the sacred blood grass. All the way to a terrifying mountain range somewhere. In the depths of the mountain range, suddenly there was an extremely terrifying existence. It stretched out a huge claw and wiped out the remnants of the Tianlang clan, as well as everyone including Tianhoku. Even the decree of the ancestor emperor was not blocked. Then, in the ruins, Ao Wushuan climbed up from the ashes, walked with difficulty to the corpse of the remnant of the wolf clan that day, dissected the snow-white wolf, took out all the blood, and put it in a jade in the pot. Even if I die, I, Ao Wushuan, will bring the divine blood back to the ancestor of the celestial race. I was born for the celestial race. In the picture, Ao Wushuan looks pious. Then, Ao Wushuan walked out of the wilderness alone. After reading Ao Wushuan's memory, Tianyuandao and Tianyuansheng, the two holy kings, looked at each other. Their eyes were full of shock. Deep in the great northern wilderness, there is terror. Not even the holy emperor's decree can stop it. This Ao Wushuan can actually survive from such a devastating situation. He is truly a lucky star. Tianyuansheng suddenly spoke, and when he looked at Ao Wushuan, there was a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Tianyuandao couldn't help but sigh, saying, although he is from the human race, he is still loyal to our clan. Such loyal people are rare at that time. He reached out, patted Ao Wushuan on the shoulder, and said with encouragement, "Thanks for your hard work." When Ao Wushuan heard this, he was instantly dumbfounded. What's the situation? Why are these two guys praising themselves? He couldn't help but swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Are all the humans in this world crazy? He strongly doubted it. What about the jade pot? Take it out. Tianyuansheng opened his mouth. Hearing this, Ao Wushuan felt a thrill in his heart, trembling with fear, and handed over the jade pot. Tianyuansheng took it seriously, gently opened the stopper of the jade pot, and took a sip. Ah, it feels so good. Tianyuansheng said with a look of enjoyment on his face, it is indeed the original true blood contained in the divine blood grass. It's really magical. I got it. Let's go. We can go back. The ancestor will be revived. Tianyuandao was also excited. Xiao Ao, you have made great achievements this time, and your sincerity is evident. Come on, follow us back to the clan. I will canonize you as the quasi-holy son candidate of the celestial clan. Tianyuansheng put away the jade pot and looked at Ao Wushuan again. The more he looked at this young man, the more he liked him. He is born with a lucky star, his talent is unparalleled, and he is also so loyal and courageous. It can be cultivated into a dog and a knife of the celestial clan, and will be used by the celestial clan in the future. When Ao Wushuan heard this, his brain felt more and more overwhelmed. What the hell is going on? Can you pass this on your own? No. God bless you. However, when he thought about becoming a quasi-holy son candidate for an unlucky ethnic group like the Celestials, he immediately became afraid. Even a lucky star like himself might not be able to withstand the Celestials' bad luck. He became fierce and suddenly gritted his teeth and said, Two holy kings, do you want revenge? I will take you there. There is hope in his eyes. No need, we can't go to that place right now. Tianyuansheng waved his hand and said, let's go. Ao Wushuan's eyes suddenly became extremely disappointed. Don't be sad. I know you are loyal to our clan and eager to avenge your clan, but now is not the time. Tianyuandao smiled. Immediately, he waved his sleeves, rolled up Ao Wushuan, and left together. The night is dark. The villagers, after finishing the feast, had basically dispersed and returned home. At this moment, at the east end of the village, there was a simple room in a residential building. Zhang Shui was lying on the bed, feeling hot all over. She could feel that the spiritual energy of the holy path throughout her body was erupting and impacting her sea of consciousness. Because of a bowl of fruit wine, her cultivation level is making a breakthrough. From the realm of great power, breakthrough to become a saint. The realm of Yeshu is known as the great power of the holy way. And in the realm of breaking the fog, he is called a saint. In this realm, practitioners will break through the fog in the sea of consciousness and discover their true self. At this moment, Zhang Shui felt as if she was lost. She saw a lot. A picture that does not belong to her. She seemed to be transported back to another time. It was a primitive and wild land, where all races prospered and grew, and the world had endless vitality. But the human race is struggling under all races. She saw a tribe that was devoured by an ancient alien race, leaving only bones. She saw a human cultivator rising into the sky, but was killed by a strong foreigner indifferently. She saw all the human beings prostrate on the ground when the alien saint passed by. It seems like the fog of time is slowly being lifted. Another person was walking towards her step by step. It was a little girl who climbed out of the ruins destroyed by the aliens. She was scarred, and with her young hands, she dug out the corpses of her people from the ruins. She cried and buried all her relatives in the heavy rain. That was a girl who, at the same age as a flower, tortured herself desperately, just like an ascetic monk. She was a cold yet powerful peerless woman who traveled across the wilderness, competing with the geniuses of all races, and suppressing them to the point where they did not dare to look away. That is an invincible female saint. One person can shake up an entire clan. She walked out of loneliness, dressed in white, and finally stood tall between heaven and earth. She raised her hand and the stars were extinguished. She looked back at the world in shock. Even the most powerful ancient emperor among all races did not dare to compete with her. Her name is Snow, but wherever she walks, there are often rivers of blood. She is revered as the Snow Emperor by the human race, and at the same time, she is also called the Blood Emperor by all races. At this moment, in the simple room, Zhang Shui suddenly slowly opened her eyes. She has become a saint. However, at this moment, her eyes showed deep confusion. Who am I, and who is she? She murmured. At this moment, she suddenly stood up and walked out of the room. In the sky, the stars and the moon hang high. Step by step, she walked out of the silent mountain village, and then headed towards a certain direction in the great northern wilderness. At the same time, deep in the great northern wilderness, the primitive landforms in the vast mountains looked as if someone had cut open an area with a divine sword, and there were lots of bones in it. At this moment, suddenly, the earth collapsed and cracked like an earthquake. Huge trees were broken and destroyed one after another, and the ground surface was completely exploded. In the midst of the smoke and dust, countless bones suddenly rose from the earth. This place was opened by Li Fan a few months ago. Later, the bones crawled out of the earth, triggering a tide of beasts in the northern wilderness. Lin Juchhan, Wu Dade, and Big Black Dog came here before, and Big Black Dog used magic to seal this area. However, now, countless white bones stand up densely, and their empty eye sockets seem to be looking in a certain direction. The endless army of bones seems to be waiting for something. And among the endless corpses of bones, there are 4 extremely tall giant bones, guarding a broken battle flag. The battle flag was stained with blood, as if it had gone through thousands of battles. The big flag fluttered in the wind, and in an instant, the evil and yin energy soaring into the sky spread throughout the depths of the great northern wilderness. In the sky, under the moonlit night, there seems to be a vast and endless shadow of a big flag, standing between heaven and earth. All birds and beasts fled in panic.